And then again.
Yeah, that's what I'm used to, is that easy.
Okay.
Or-
Coming down.
When it's easy, I can do it, but okay. So what we can do is I can pause this. Oh, that was nice.
That's before when I was yelling, because now no.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it there. I'm gonna go back to Zoom for just a second.
Started right on the yelling.
Got it. All right. And we're recording, so we're gonna go to the live and I'm going to play. And I have it on mute. Okay. Once we're at the time frame, we can start. I feel it. I was actually up most of the night worrying about that one call today, so, but it all went well. Here's the correspondence. I'll leave that with you. You have your copy?
Okay.
Okay, good.
I do. But I have a three.
Okay. It's right there. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. You go right ahead there. I have everything that we need. I just numbered the resolutions. I don't have a staff report for this evening. Everything's kind of at your end point. Yeah, we did.
First day. Again.
Talk about the pump tonight.
And if you'd like to go to, there's Dan. You can start the meeting anytime. And we are live streaming. Yes, we are. We're good to go.
Okay, counselors and all of you that are joining in tonight, I'd like to welcome you to our first meeting of 2022. I hope everybody, well, I know you all managed to survive the holidays, and I just hope that we have a better 2022. Unfortunately, starting virtually because of the number of COVID cases, probably not the way I wanted to start this year, but this way you can keep me at a distance. And so we'll start our meeting with disclosure of pecuniary interest. Is there any? And hearing none, and hearing none from James, I will go on to staff reports. I have 3 staff reports here, and on the top of mine is from the fire chief, CEMC, and bylaw officer. If you just want to look over that, and Will is on with us tonight. We see the calls, we see the maintenance because of the windstorm, and then the outdoor rink. And I think we'd like to discuss that. So, Will, can you go over that with us?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'm actually you're gonna hear me talking as James Scott, because we're kind of in the same area.
Can you
So,
speak up, Will?
yes,
Can somebody not hear Will? Steve, can you hear Will?
Not very well.
Okay, Will, you might have to knock James out of the way for a minute and grab that mic.
yeah, so can you hear me now?
Better.
Okay, so we attempted to try to flood the rink and discovered that the submergible pump at the river has malfunctioned. And unfortunately, we can't get anybody to repair it or look at it until the spring when they can get a diver in. So I spoke to the road super McInnes, and we came up with a second option. If council would like to look at that route, it would be option 1 on the report. It will be a lot more man hours and the use of our tanker, but we can make it work if council would like to go that route. But instead of 1 staff member, it's going to take a minimum of 2 staff members to refill the tank and to operate the pumps. And
Okay.
So Will, question. It says we'll need approximately 20,000 gallons of water to do this. How many gallons of water does the tanker take at one time?
2,000.
2,000?
2,000.
So we're looking at, go ahead.
Sorry. What we would do is they would use the underground tank with a portable pump to flood at night and on cold times. Then during the day, we would go and fill the tank back up for them to reuse it again.
Okay.
That sounds reasonable.
It does to me too, Steve. I think with COVID and, there could be longer shutdowns. At least we'd have a rink for some outdoor activities.
Yeah, and well, it's not only that. I'm thinking it's outdoor activities, but we could probably, Chris, you can probably jump in here if you think I'm out in left field, but couldn't we use some of a little bit of the COVID relief funding for that?
Yes, we could.
Great.
The rink, it's Tom,
Yes,
I have a
Tom.
question. The rink shack would have to be shut down, right? What you said?
So as of right now, until the 21 days, the rink shack would have to be shut down. It's going to take a couple weeks to get the ice ready to go, but then we just put benches outside until we're able to open the rink shack again.
Where would you fill the tanker up?
We would fill it at the end of Chapman's Landing Road.
No, okay. I just wondered about it being tied up for 10 loads at a time.
No, so what we would do is we'd fill the underground tank. It's full right now. They would use the underground tank to flood the rink. And then we would fill the underground tank with the truck. And we
Yeah.
would be with the truck all the time. So if there is an emergency, we're still there.
Yeah, and there's be 10 loads to fill it, eh? 2,000 times 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
5 loads. But they're not gonna use the whole 10,000 gallons at one time. So after
Okay,
every flood, we would fill it.
Oh, sorry, I thought you had said it was 20,000 gallons.
In total,
10,
we'd be looking at about 20,000
Yeah.
to put on the rink to
Oh.
get the base.
Yeah, so you would still need 10 loads to fill the tank twice.
But we'll be doing it over a few days. We won't be emptying it all at the same time. Because they only can put so much water on, then it's gotta freeze, do it again. So it'd be an off and on.
Well, plus you're just using a portable pump. Eh?
Yeah, the portable pump, we just leave in the rink shack.
That sounds doable.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this option because we have it, but the public didn't receive this. So I'm just going to read what we're going to do. And I think the consensus is option 1, use water from the underground tank, approximately 40 hours of time required to flood to a suitable base for public use. Approximately 20,000 gallons of water is required for this. Using this option will require additional costs and time for fire department apparatus use, and it's 2 firefighters will be required for each shuttle run to refill the tank, and this can only be done on days that are weather permitting, so warm enough. And just the consensus, so Steve, you're good with option 1?
I like option 1. Yeah, that's workable.
Okay.
Can I ask
Yes,
one more
Tom.
question?
Yes,
What happened to the person? I thought we had a person hired to look after the rink in the winter.
So
We do.
They'll
be doing
For the fire
flooding.
department, they have to look after the water.
Oh, okay, so I
They'll
just
be
wondered.
doing the flooding of the rink.
Okay, it sounded like the firemen would be doing the flooding.
No, they're going to be filling the tank.
they'll refill the
Okay.
tank and he will flood the ring.
Okay, good.
Sorry
Sorry to
about that.
interrupt.
Okay, not a problem. So you're okay with option 1, Counselor Marchand?
Yes.
Okay, Counselor Scott?
How many people are gonna be allowed to be on the rink at once and who's gonna police that?
It's going to be on an honor system, just like we did for last year when we could open.
Okay,
And we've looked, this is what, right now, as of now, this is the way they're doing it in North Bay and the way they're doing it in Powassan. But everybody knows everything's fluid. This could change tomorrow. Who knows? But tonight, this is what we're going to go with option 1. Counselor Moore, are you good with this?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay, so are there any other questions for Chief Bateman?
I believe Chief Bateman also has an update on the landfill.
Oh, Chief Bateman, do you have an update on the landfill?
Yes, thank you. So
Okay.
we've had an incident at the landfill where we have had somebody trespass when the landfill was closed and remove stuff from the landfill. We've been in contact with the OPP and we'll be meeting with them later in the week to pursue this matter further. I just wanted to make sure council was up to speed, that we did have somebody trespass while the landfill was closed.
We're removing items from from the landfill that are not permitted to be removed.
Also, it's a safety hazard and liability when somebody is in there without our landfill attendees.
Correct. Walking in front of the sign where it clearly states that they're not permitted.
Was there anything else, Chief?
I believe not at this time. Unfortunately, we do have to close the fitness center as well, effective at 12:01.
Okay. Any other questions for the chief?
No,
Okay, we'll move on to Road Superintendent McGinnis. Okay. If you just want to look over that, and then if you have any questions, I believe Dan is on the line. Any questions? We have mentioned the landfill issue, and we did mention the pump issue. So if there are no questions, we'll go on with John Paul Negrinaitis. Any questions for John Paul?
no,
No,
Okay. We'll go on to, and I know basically since we've last met, it's been a general shutdown, and not for COVID, but for the holiday season. But I will go around and see if there are any committee reports. And I'll start with Councillor Moore.
no, none for me tonight.
Okay. Councillor Marchant.
no,
Okay. Councillor Kirky.
No, nothing here. Our meeting isn't until the 24th, I believe.
Okay. And Councillor Scott.
No, I don't have a meeting till January the 10th.
Okay, in my case, I don't have a East Home meeting till, well, one on Thursday, and then the official meeting the third Wednesday. So I have no committee reports either. So we can go on to number 4, and that would be to adopt the minutes of the meeting held December 21st. And so I love this. It's number R 2022-01. So I need a mover and a seconder.
I'll
And
move
if
it.
you could- I'm sorry, if you just say your name,
Steve?
okay? And,
James,
okay. I'll save Tom and I'll go with James on the first one. So it's number R 2022-01, moved by Councillor Kirky, seconded by Councillor Scott, that the minutes of the council meeting held December 21st, 2021 be adopted as published. All in favor, and I'll just call your name. Councillor Kirky,
Yes.
Councillor Marchant,
yes,
Councillor Moore,
Yes,
Councillor Scott.
yes,
Carried. Thank you. We move on to number 5. It's a zoning bylaw amendment. This part of our meeting is declared a public meeting pursuant to the provisions of section 3412 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, to discuss an application for change to zoning bylaw 2020 by the Township of Nipissing. So this is, the applicant is Redwood. I believe you have all seen this. Does anybody have a question about it?
No.
We have, other than the green map on page 1, we will not be using, and severed and retained were changed. And otherwise, if anybody has a question for John Paul, I believe he's still here. Any questions?
No.
No.
Okay. If we have no questions, I'll ask for a mover and a seconder.
Liz,
Thank you. So it's number R 2022-02, moved by Councillor Moore, seconded by Councillor Marchant, that we pass bylaw number 2022-01, being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw 2020 as amended, read a first, second, and third time this 4th day of January 2022. All in favor, Councillor Kirkie,
Yes.
Councillor Marchant,
yes,
Councillor Moore,
yes.
Councillor Scott.
Yes,
Carried. Thank you. Okay, number 6 is the bylaw is temporary borrowing. For those of you that have been on council before, every year at this time, because we have not collected any taxes for 2022, we authorize for temporary borrowing in case there's a need, and that need would only be in incredible circumstances. And I'm not aware that we've ever used it.
No,
We've never used it in the past,
but the bank requires it for us.
but the bank requires it in case there is a need before tax time. So it's a little paperwork, but I need a mover and a seconder unless someone has a question.
One question
Yep.
for Chris. I know we do this every year. I just want to ask, is the only change on here the dates?
Yes,
Okay, great. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, so I need a mover and a seconder, and again, if you could just say your name.
Dave,
Dave,
I
Okay,
didn't catch that either.
I'm sorry, I missed it.
Councillor Kirkie,
Thank you. And
Mr. Scott,
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Scott.
I think it came through as seams.
Yeah, so it's number R 2022-03, moved by Councillor Kirkie, seconded by Councillor Scott, that we pass bylaw number 2022-02, being a bylaw to authorize temporary borrowing from time to time to meet current expenditures during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022, read a first, second, and third time and passed this 4th day of January 2022. Again, I'm just gonna change it up. Councillor Scott,
yes,
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Councillor Marchant,
yes,
Councillor Kirkie.
yes.
Thank you. Carried.
Term taxes,
Right.
so that we don't have to borrow.
Okay, so the next one is number 7, to provide for an interim tax levy. Do you want to tell them?
It's what we do every year. This authorizes us to issue the interim tax bill, which is always half of the previous year's total taxes. It will be due on March 31st. We would like to send them out the second week of January.
Okay.
This is something we do every year, right?
Yes,
we
This
do
is the one
indeed-
that I picked up when we still had a hold on it.
We do it we do it this way because we don't have the budget done yet, so we just go with half of last year. Okay, so I need a mover and a seconder again.
Liz,
Thank
Tom.
you. Thank you. That was well done. It's number R 2022-04, moved by Councillor Moore, seconded by Councillor Marchant, that we pass bylaw number 2022-03, being a bylaw to provide for an interim tax levy, read a first, second, and third time, and pass this 4th day of January 2022. All in favor, and I'll call Councillor Scott,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
yes.
Councillor Marchant,
Yes.
Councillor Kirky.
Yes,
Thank you.
Sorry.
Now, the next one, to confirm the appointment of members of the Township of Nipissing Committee of Adjustment. This is another homework item, and it's not to the members at large, it's just for the council members. So we have to confirm that these five members of council will continue on the Committee of Adjustment, and we don't have a choice anyway. So it's just homework, but it has to be done every year. So I need a mover and a seconder again, please.
Councillor Kirky.
Thank you. Mr. Scott, are you there?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Okay, I'm putting you down. I love calling you Mr. It's R 2022-05, moved by Councillor Kirky, seconded by Councillor Scott, that we pass bylaw number 2022-04, being a bylaw to confirm the appointment of members to the Township of Nipissing Committee of Adjustment. Read a first, second, and third time and passed this 4th day of January 2022. All in favor, and I will call again, Councillor Marchant,
Yes.
Councillor Kirky,
Yes,
Councillor Moore,
Yes,
Councillor Scott.
Yes.
Thank you.
I believe Dan would like to leave the meeting now to be prepared for an early morning.
Okay. What's he have to do?
You just have to let him know he's allowed to go.
Dan, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. You're
Still
gonna go
here.
out and plow the roads first thing tomorrow?
Yepper.
Okay, and if no one has any questions, we'll let Dan go because he certainly needs his beauty sleep. Okay, Dan, have a good evening.
Dan,
Okay, good night.
Good night, thank
night.
you.
Bye.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we're down to number 9. This came from correspondence last week, and that we're supporting the Ontario and the federal government to have a new national child care program. So I need a mover and a seconder for that.
Liz,
Thank you.
Councillor Kirky.
Thank you. Number R 2022-06, moved by Councillor Moore, seconded by Councillor Kirky, that we support the resolution dated November 15th, 2021. From the City of St. Catharines, requesting that the provincial government take the necessary steps to work with the federal government to ensure a new national child care program be made available to Ontarians. Again, I'll ask for your support, your vote. So for Councillor Kirky,
Yes,
Councillor Marchant,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
yes.
and Councillor Scott.
Yes.
Thank you.
The next is the newsletter.
The next is the newsletter. Does anybody have any questions for Chris? I know we sent the newsletter out quite a while ago and we haven't heard anything, but if you have any questions,
I have one. Tom,
yes.
I just wondered, I wanted to get it straight in my mind as people have mentioned some of the recycling. Was that in the contract that the items had to be separated into 4 different items,
Yes,
or was that our doing?
nope, that is the way that we accepted the RFP.
Okay, just want to make sure it's going and if people ask.
Yes, I wasn't sure about it, so I'm glad you clarified that. I do know now because I came and asked this evening, but it is indeed. Now, are there any other questions about the newsletter?
One little question about the recycling. Everything is listed here and it's listed quite well. And I tried this out and it worked really well. But it's a little thing, tin foil. Are we still recycling tin foil?
Yes, it goes in with the tin.
Okay, I'd like to see that on here, because at the landfill, there was some confusion and I was told to put it in the garbage, so, okay.
Clean tin foil, clean aluminum foil gets accepted with the tin and aluminum. However, if it is something that has a lot of debris on it, if it's
Yes.
baked, let's say lasagna, for example, just as an example with cheese or something on it that cannot be used, that would
Yeah.
be garbage.
Like
Yeah.
with any other of the recyclables, yes.
Correct,
Okay,
yes,
all right. Just wanted to know, so it goes in with the tin cans, all right,
yes, and we will make that adjustment.
thank you.
I have a question. Tetra Paks,
Pardon?
Steve?
Tetra Paks.
That,
Tetra Pak.
that goes in with the cardboard, paperboard, and paper.
Okay, I was just curious. That's, because I look at Tetra Paks and they're foil lined and,
Yes, but I think they accept those with the milk cartons and juice boxes. It kind of all
Okay.
goes in there.
all right.
Good question.
Mhm.
Any other questions for the newsletter?
No, looks good.
Okay,
Looks good.
I need a mover and seconder then, please.
James,
Counselor Kirk,
Thank you. And is that Counselor Scott?
Yep.
Thank you. Let me read this then. It's number R 2022-07, moved by Counselor Kirky, seconded by Counselor Scott, that we approve the January newsletter for circulation as presented. All in favor, and I will call again. Counselor Scott,
yes,
Counselor Moore,
Yes,
Counselor Marchant,
Yes.
Counselor Kirky.
yes,
Thank you. And we'll go to the correspondence. And there wasn't much this week. The first one, we looked up here, daylight savings time. The province of Ontario has already supported this. The issue now is the Premier of Quebec and New York State. So I think my suggestion would be that we've already supported it in Ontario. We just need those other 2 areas to support it as well.
Can I make a comment, Your Worship?
Yes,
Yeah, the what the Ontario government, I understood, was looking to keep it a daylight saving time. And which a lot of the experts have said is the wrong way to go. And what I read was the one in the letter from South Frontenac, it says to Eastern time zone, down about the middle of the page, Eastern time zones remain at standard time and discontinue daylight savings time. But then up above that, it says to make daylight saving time standard time.
correct.
Yeah, So, they say to discontinue it. I'm not in favor of keeping daylight saving time. But, that's why I would not support, a letter like this.
I think, and I agree with you, Councillor Marchant, and I mean, it's not a well-written letter. It seems to be difficult to interpret. So if council doesn't mind, we'll let the provincial government sort that one out.
Thank
So
you.
we won't go ahead with anything on that front. Now, the second one is again from South Frontenac regarding joint and several liability, requesting a review of the law to ensure a fair and reasonable way to ensure those who suffer losses are made whole while preventing the further scaling back of public services. AMO has already got this on their docket. We've even talked to AMO. We've also talked to Vic about this particular thing, but it's up to you if you want us to support it. It's a council initiative. So how do you feel about that?
I thought we sent a resolution, or, we did about this already with another township.
We did, about insurance.
Yes.
So we have done it once.
So it's a done deal.
Okay,
It may be worthwhile to wait a few months and see what new information comes forward, especially from the provincial election, and then see what initiatives there are for joint and several liability at that point and endorse those.
I agree.
so done deal. And the last one, Quebec Bill 21. Already the provincial government and the federal government has spoken out against Bill 21. I think they're speaking on behalf of all Ontarians. And I suggest that we don't move on this because our leaders already have. Any comment or question on that?
I agree with you.
Okay,
I agree also.
okay,
I agree also.
okay, so we won't go ahead with that. And good luck to the feds and Mr. Ford on speaking to the Quebec government. Okay, accounts to pay. Oh, we have to accept the correspondence. So I need a mover and a seconder to accept it.
Liz,
Council,
Okay, I heard Moore and Councillor Kirky, correct?
correct.
Thank you. It's number R 2022-08, moved by Councillor Moore, seconded by Councillor Kirky, that we accept the correspondence as presented. All in favor? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so Councillor Kirky,
Yes,
Councillor Moore,
yes.
and Councillor Scott.
Yes,
And I did hear Councillor Marchant, and he was on my screen at the time, so thank you. We move on to the accounts. Did they all get a look at those?
I sent them out late last night as soon as I could get them finished. I think it was around 7 p.m. last night by the time we could get everything forwarded on the computer. We had computer issues until about 2 p.m. yesterday. So now that that's all sorted out, that was the final for 2021. We will have one more run for 2021.
Okay, so, and
Question?
a question about the accounts, go ahead.
Well, first of all, thanks, Chris, for doing that so late at night, for getting it for us. Garage materials, 9,348. I wondered what that all entailed.
Take a peek.
She's going to take a look.
I presume that was motor oil, filters.
No, actually, it's the Cedar signs for resolution that we passed at the last council meeting. for the automatic solar signs. It was put through
Okay.
brush because it did not have
Oh,
a budgeted amount, but yes.
Okay, thank you. That explains it.
And I'm glad you asked. I was thinking that's a lot of oil.
No, that's too much.
Yes.
We all did.
So those were the signs that we passed and we will see in the near future, monitoring my speed on Lake Nipissing Road. Any other questions about the accounts? I'll ask for a mover and a seconder then.
Tom,
James,
Okay, Counselor Scott. And
Tom,
thank you. So it's number R 2021-09, moved by Counselor Scott, seconded by Counselor Marchant, with the statement of accounts dated December 23rd and 31st, 2021, January 3rd, 2022, totaling $102,566.46 be approved. All in favor, Counselor Marchant, I can see you.
yes.
Okay, Counselor Kirky,
yes,
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Scott.
yes,
Okay, I'm doing this A for the public and B because I can't see Counselor Scott. Just before we go into confirming, I'm looking into any comments or questions that we've made, and we will be having private session at the next meeting, and we'll be able to go over a number of the questions that you've had for me. We'll be able to bring that up under private session at our next council meeting.
Also at that meeting, I understand that the councillors have been receiving correspondence continuing on that private land matter that we had discussed at the last meeting in December briefly. We did have our discussions with the lawyer. We will have a staff report for council to review, and that will be discussed in closed session at the next council meeting for direction by council.
Okay,
Thank you.
not a problem. So the confirming bylaw, I need a mover and a seconder, please.
Liz.
Counselor Moore and Counselor Kirky. It's number R 2022-10, moved by Counselor Moore, seconded by Counselor Kirky, that we pass bylaw number 2022-05, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on January 4th, 2022, read the first, second, and third time, and passed this fourth day of January 2022. All in favor? Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Scott,
yes,
Counselor Marchant,
Yes.
Counselor Kirky.
yes,
Thank you. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully by the time we meet again, the kids will be back in school, but we'll still be under the 5-person thing until the 26th,
I believe so.
I believe. But again, things are changing so quickly. I don't know if we can count that far ahead, but until we meet again, I need a mover and a seconder so we can adjourn the meeting.
Tom,
Counselor Marchant. And
Steve,
James,
thank you, Counselor Kirky. Holding out, Counselor Scott. It's number R 2022-11, moved by Counselor Marchant, seconded by Counselor Kirky, that the meeting be adjourned at 7:08 p.m. Next regular meeting to be held January 18th, 2022. Counselor Kirky, in favor?
yes,
Counselor Marchant,
yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Counselor Scott.
Yes.
Thank you. It's carried. In the meantime, please be safe, be careful, and we'll see you on the 18th in some form. Have a great night. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.